Hello, Pippa.
I'm Pippa Evans from Showstopper, the improvised musical.
And coincidentally, I'm Andrew Pugsley, also from Showstopper, the improvised musical.
And this is Showstopper, the improvised musicals podcast.
Yeah, Showstopper, if you don't know what it is an improvised musical, just what it says on the tin. So the whole thing, the songs, the dances, the scenes, the lyrics, the music, everything is made up on the spot.
And we thought we'd love to do a podcast because what we love is musical theatre. So we thought, why don't we combine our love of musical theatre, our love of comedians, and our love of improvising into one delicious hour?
That's right. So we have a different guest each time, someone from the world of musicals or improv or comedy. Sometimes all three, Pippa.
Literally, they can be from all three. We are happy with a complete Venn diagram.
So the chat you're about to hear, we recorded back in October at the Museum of Comedy.
And the guest we had was the fantastic Obioma Ugoala from Hamilton, which he was starring at the time as George Washington.
Yeah, that's right, in the original London cast of Hamilton. And just an incredible performer. We both saw him in Hamilton and we were absolutely blown away.
Absolutely blown away. Total swoonsville. And it was so exciting because I tweeted, obviously, because who doesn't tweet everything they're doing in their life? I'm going to see Hamilton today. And he messaged me back saying, well, you must come backstage and say hello. Because turns out he loves the Now Show. So what an exciting time to then get to go and meet George Washington and Mr. Hamilton himself.
Amazing. And so also in the room we had Alex Atty, Showstopper chief percussionist.
And Duncan Walsh Atkins, our musical director. But we didn't let him speak.
No, I mean, he is capable of speaking.
He is, but we try to limit his word count.
Yeah, so that's it. Let's have a listen to this. Listen to Obi reflecting on his time in Hamilton and discussing all manner of other musical and comedy things.
Obioma Ugoala, how are you?
I'm great. Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Can I just say, I was blown away by you in Hamilton. You're just amazing.
Thank you.
I think what's really amazing is I think you're a lot younger than the plot you play. How old are you in stages? In stages.
In stages. I've been doing it a while.
Yeah.
I've been doing it a while.
But you act like an old man.
I think what Pip's trying to say over it, it's like you were not yourself for a while, but were pretending to be another person.
Show started and I was suddenly older than I was meant to be, and I had a cane. I don't do the show with a cane. No, but yeah, it was a big worry for me when I was auditioning.
Was it?
Yeah, I was like, he's George Washington. He's meant to be like, I think he's 40. I think in 1776 when the show starts, and so I was panicked. I thought, I'm not a 40-year-old, and then I thought, well, maybe if I act, deepen my voice, and no, but so going into the audition, I think it was one of those rare things that it was one of the few auditions that there was something extant out in the world that I knew what it was. I'd seen it, I'd heard it, kind of fallen in love with it. That was this part that I wanted. And then I auditioned for it, and I was like, oh, I'm in the audition room, this is good. This is one of the steps that I need to take to get this role. And then I kind of got the call that said, you've got the role. And I was like, oh, that's And I think for most performers, and I think I think for most performers, there's kind of a 19-minute period that they have the best time after having got the job, and they're like, oh my god, it's so great, I got this job, it's gonna be like wonderful, before the kind of crippling neurosis of like, oh my gosh, I need to like do this role justice, and there's gonna be rehearsals, and if everyone thinks I'm terrible, and so like there's all the waiting before the audition, like after you've auditioned and kind of, have I got the part, you get the part, that lasts for about an hour, and then after that you go, oh gosh, I need to work now.
Yes, literally the difference between I got the job and I got the job,
yeah.
Because the fear of can I actually deliver the job, and so much of you have to train yourself so much to do the audition and not think about that you might get the job, because that's what ruins auditions. So that when you do finally get the job, you go, oh, I didn't even think I was really just trying to do a good audition. Yeah. That's so exciting. And because it didn't like draw lines on your face or none of that traditional way of doing old acting.
Grey up the beard. No, yeah, it's funny what some facial hair will do for you. Yeah.
What is it like? Because obviously Hamilton is the big show. Like, it is a piece of history. I mean, it is a show that will be talked about for years to come.
Sure.
What is it like being in a piece of history?
Wow. I think there's an odd thing where, you know, everyone on the West End is just kind of trying to tell a story, be that kind of Tina or Motown or, you know, Book of Mormon or Matilda. Everyone is just being their kind of wonderful performer, being a part of the kind of wonderful tapestry of the West End. And so, you know, the Hamilton kind of London cast, I feel like we're just we're an extension of that, and we are part of the tapestry that's come over from Broadway. And it's just about, you know, being able to share this really fun story, and told in quite a vibrant way, quite a, you know, something that feels like it's history, but feels like it's a story we've never heard before, told in a kind of interesting way. And that's really kind of exciting, I think, to be a part of that tapestry and for it to be our kind of like vibrant little corner of the West End in Victoria. But I mean, yeah, it's really fun.
And when did you first come across Hamilton? Did you hear the cast album? Did you see it in New York? What was your first exposure to it?
So both. I was in New York with the RSC, and we were doing the histories over there, and previously I'd been doing Beauty and the Beast, and when I was working on that, the musical supervisor on that said, yeah, sure, you know, Dreamgirls is coming over and Motown's gonna be amazing, but the show you need to see is Hamilton. Like, I think at that point it had just opened to the public, and so I think everyone's kind of a bit nuts about it when we were doing Beauty and the Beast.
And this was its big off-Broadway run before it opened on Broadway.
Before it opened on Broadway. And so I was like, oh, well, it can't be that. And then I listened to the dun, 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 dun. And I went, ooh, okay. And then, like, the first time I went, and I think because it's a sung-through musical, there's a thing that happens where, well, for me at least, the show, because it's sung through, you kind of know everything that happens.
Yeah.
So you stage it all yourself in your head. You kind of go, oh, that's what that person looks like, and you know, this is the choreography that I do. And then you get into the theatre. I went to the Richard Rodgers, and I saw Lynn and Chris and some of the other guys. I can't remember who the original cast I saw other than those guys, but I remember watching it and going, sorry, this is a podcast. You can't.
It was a really good face that Obi just did.
The best face. My acting face.
His acting.
He looked
really
so
good.
much older when he did that face. Did you notice
One of my
that?
4 acting faces. No, but I kind of, it felt, you know, obviously Andy Blankenbuehler is the choreographer, and he is the most dramaturgically inclined choreographer I've ever worked with. He just, for him, he has an explanation for every gesture, every movement, and it's, I think, one of the wonderful things about this cast and the choreography is that when you're working with dancers who are that talented, you know that they have it in them to kind of let loose and to, like, if they decided to kind of wild out, it would just be amazing, but it wouldn't tell the story. And so there's something kind of really powerful in how restrained you can tell the dancers are being, because it's not about them doing a kind of triple pirouette kind of, you know, jump splits. You know, it's about how are they furthering the story? What are they kind of guiding our focus to be looking at?
Yeah, it's great. And if we can pick up on Andy Blankenbuehler there, I don't know if you guys listening have seen, there's an amazing little clip online of him, the choreographer of Hamilton, breaking down just a tiny little section. It's the I'm not throwing away my shot little motif that comes up loads during the show. And it's a little thing it's over in a few seconds, and he breaks it down in every little move. And, there's a little move on the word scrappy that's a little bit influenced by a boxing move. There's a little kind of throwing away delay move when I'm not throwing away my shot, and all of these little motifs over in a flash. But it's incredible, I think, the detail that he's put into that and the way he's thought that out. And obviously because Hamilton is such a dense piece, it's incredible that just every element has that kind of attention to detail to it.
Yeah, and I think that kind of, it feels like it's a no-brainer, but Tommy Kail managed to get all of the creatives kind of singing from the same hymn sheet. You know, you could ask the lighting designer, you could ask the costume designer, you know, anybody at any particular point, what's happening at this point in the story? You know, where's our focus meant to be? Why is it that, you know, that lighting state? And everyone will be able to say, oh, this is kind of burst subconscious, or this is, and I think that is, it feels like it's a really simple thing, you know, to just have everyone kind of thinking the same thing and kind of understanding where we are in the story. And it's what I think makes the show really powerful to kind of watch, is that it's a lean show. You know, nothing feels too extraneous, which I think is important for any kind of show. It's how we get into the story. You know, if you look at Shakespeare, when he starts with, you know, two households, both alike in dignity and fair for and where we lay our scene, you know, that is immediately, he kind of goes, okay, this is where we are, from, you know, ancient grudge breaks forth and new mutiny, make civil hands unclean. He just goes, there's this thing, the two people are fighting, there are these two star-crossed lovers, they fall in love, that was the only thing that buried their parents' strife. Go. I hope that you enjoy the show. And there's something about you immediately, you're with it. You're following and going, okay, this is what's going to happen. And there's something about having a storytelling that is that lean, that just says that you trust your audience and say, you might not know about the Revolutionary War, you might not know exactly what's happening, but we're going to run with this, and you're going to enjoy it, and you'll pick up on who the characters are. And I think audiences like to feel like they are kind of just keeping pace rather than getting ahead of it and kind of sitting and going, oh, it's this moment. Okay, I know what this is going to sound like. I know what this is going to look like. So there's something about kind of making sure that the audience never feel that they are too comfortable in a moment, which I think, you know, the creators managed and juggled really well.
I took my mum to come along and see it. You met my mum. And she's very well. She sends her love. And
shout out to Pippa's mum.
Hey Trish. She said, but she couldn't actually follow half the words because it's so fast, and she's old. Sorry, Mum. And she won't listen. She doesn't know what a podcast is.
Yeah, wow, you're in so much trouble if she finds out. If she uncovers the secret to podcasting.
But she could. But she absolutely loved it. You know, and she is, like I say, an older lady. Probably not who Lin-Manuel was writing for specifically, and she absolutely. I mean, obviously she loved King George the most because he's hilarious. But she absolutely loved it, and I think that's what's part of it as well. Is even if you don't get all the dates and exactly what's happening, you know, you can't leave and then write a paper on the Civil War. You do go through the emotions of Alexander Hamilton's journey.
And I think, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't presume to speak about what Lin was, you know, who he was writing for. I think he just wanted to tell a good story well. But I think if most of us are honest, and it's interesting because the Shakespeare comparison comes up a lot when people talk about Hamilton. And I think there's something about, if all of us are really honest, when you go and see, you know, Richard II or Henry IV Part 2 or, you know, Richard III, we don't understand all of it. Like we're not going to get all of the references. You know, there are references in the show to, you know, Mobb Deep and Biggie Smalls that, like, if you get it, you're like, but, you know, you don't need to know that, you know. And I remember there being, I think it's like As You Like It, where there's a joke about the corn drought that was happening in London between like 1607 and 1608, and you kind of go, no, there is no way that there's an audience member now in 2018 who's listening to that going, you know, I'm all about Easter eggs. I'm a massive kind of comic book fan and nerd on like a lot. So I would love it to have that, to have those in jokes. And I think when you do hear, you know, if you don't know, now you know, I think there are audience members who go, and it's nice to have that, you know, that bit of fan service, but also it's never at the kind of, it's serving the story.
Yeah. Alienating anyone.
Yeah, it's not, this is our joke and we're going to keep this kind of...
Whereas we get the Gilbert and Sullivan references, so, you know, pretty cool. Pretty cool kids. Alex, you've seen Hamilton.
I have. I really enjoy the musical references. I read an amazing article that detailed about, it must have been 100 musical references listed in this thing, and it's from Beyonce to the Beastie Boys and now having had some of them pointed out and some of them that I thought sounded similar, and then reading it and thinking, oh yeah, I definitely heard that, and then spotting them now, I've really enjoyed that. It's really fun.
Have you looked up the album on Rap Genius?
No.
It's if you don't know about Rap Genius, it's an amazing online resource where essentially like people can add kind of their own liner notes to like. It started with like quite a small selection of rap music, and now like loads of people have put lyrics to albums up there and kind of annotated. And Lin-Manuel Miranda has himself annotated the entirety of the Hamilton cast album, and it's like there is every single little reference, every little Easter egg, all these things. Like he's talking about all the little in jokes, where they came from, what this is referencing. It's like you can literally spend days just like listening through and reading all that stuff. Check it, it's amazing.
I don't know what you mean when you say Easter eggs. I just want to say that because I think if I was listening, I might be like, oh, Easter eggs must be big in musical theatre.
You're not our target audience, Pippa.
No.
So you know how like there are sometimes in the MCU, like in a Spider-Man film or something, someone will say, "Oh, my name's MJ," and you'll be like,
Michael Jackson.
No, Mary Jane.
Oh,
but like, if you hear someone talking about MJ, then you'll be like, "Oh, but I know that's Peter Parker's love interest." So you kind of hear it in the background, and it doesn't need to be kind of like shoved down your throat, but because you've heard it, you're like, if you know, and you kind of go, oh, that's a nice little kind of fan service of like, maybe that is something that will come up in a future film.
Like finding an Easter egg in the garden that you forgot about after the hunt. This is why we do this podcast. It's education.
Learning every day.
The subtitle is Teaching Pippa About Things.
Now, obviously, you haven't only done Hamilton. We've looked at your CV. I mean, I'm mostly excited about Doctors. Because I think everyone has to. I've still not done Doctors.
I've not done Doctors either.
If the casting director is listening, I would love to do Doctors. I've met very few actors other than myself and Andrew who haven't done Doctors.
I think we're literally the only ones in the showstopper that haven't done Doctors.
Yeah. Oh, can you tell us what your storyline was?
I was playing a police officer.
Oh, right.
Which is a bit kind of
counterintuitive. You didn't.
I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't a patient.
You didn't get hurt. What did you have to do? What did you have to do?
There was we stopped a football player who had been sleeping in his car and had slept off the alcohol, and we were like, we're not sure he's all right to drive, so we pulled him over, and he then tried to resist arrest and pushed over my colleague, and she ended up hurting her back. And
oh my gosh!
Hospital.
Oh my life!
And I was deeply upset by this because I actually had she was about to leave the service, about to leave the force, and so I thought, now that we're no longer colleagues, let me kind of admit my kind of
feeling.
And so I was doing that on the day and then she messes up her back and she might be paralysed, and it was traumatic.
And was this policeman? Did he have a name? Or was he just policeman?
Ian Weller.
Full name. Ian Weller. Two names. They were thinking about making that a regular.
PC Weller?
PC, yeah.
PC Weller.
And I was,
But did Ian...
He wasn't a recurring character.
But was Ian like, I'm sorry, now that you're going to be paralysed, I don't want to be with you? Was that what it is? Or like, now I'm going to look after you?
I'm going to be with you.
Oh, Ian.
What
a guy.
Yeah, he was a general guy. But no, I was jealous. A lot of my friends from drama school had been in the room for Doctors, Holby, Casualty, and I was like, I haven't even been in the room. And I was doing all this theatre, and I was like, give me a chance. Give me a chance to shine on Doctors.
I want to get to Birmingham.
Yeah, and my it's hilarious. My mum, love you, Mum.
It's all about the mums today.
It's all about mums. The things that she gets excited about. I told her, I remember telling her, I got the RSC and I'd done the Globe, working at John Malfine. I once did a panto where I was playing the Prince, Prince Charming in Sleeping Beauty. And she told everyone, brought the whole family, walked up to Watford, and I was like, I've done, I have had bits in my career. She's like, no, but this is your Prince, darling. I was like, okay. I told her, I was like, I'm playing George Washington in Hamilton. She's like, okay. I mean, couldn't you play Hamilton? I was like, Mum, I'm fine. This is the part I auditioned for. Like, I'm happy. The part I wanted. I saw the show. I was like, that's the part I want. She said, I know, but it is the title character. I was like, Mum, listen, I'm a resident. Like, it's okay. Mums, always pushing for more. Yeah.
You got to do jobs for your mum sometimes, don't you?
Absolutely.
We all collect fridge magnets for Andrew's mum.
That's true. It's a little showstopper tradition. I started to keep myself sane when I did my first kind of terrible touring jobs as a young actor. Now I'm 60.
Got a lot of lines with his head drawn on with a pen.
Yeah, absolutely. I just started wherever I was on tour. I started picking up a local fridge magnet. So I have from those days a lot of really obscure sort of English towns, like fridge magnets from Cockermouth and Yarmouth and places like that. And now it's spread. My mum got so excited about getting new fridge magnets that now anywhere any of the showstoppers go on holiday or work, they always pick up a fridge magnet for my mum.
There are rules though, aren't there?
There are rules.
There are rules,
It's very stressful. I'm not even a showstopper.
There is a spreadsheet, Obi. That is how serious this is.
There genuinely is a spreadsheet so that we don't double up. And also it has to have the name of the place on it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And you have to physically be there. You can't
You can't
eBay it. You can't order them online. It's got to be,
collected in person.
But if someone's listening and wants to send us a fridge magnet from anywhere, look up our details online and get in touch. As long as you have physically picked it up yourself, you can add it to my mum's fridge magnet collection.
Well, yeah, bit of Andrew there, bit of Andrew's life.
Hey, there we go.
He's a real person. He's a rounded character. So Hamilton's not going to last forever. Hey, wait, newsflash.
The Hard Truths podcast with Pippa Evans.
People don't realise the influence I have. What I meant was, Obi, maybe you don't want to play George Hamilton. Maybe I was going to say George Harrison, which would have been maybe even worse. George Washington for the rest of your life. So if there was a magic musical theatre fairy wand, and they were like, hey, you get to do whatever role you want. What would be your dream role? And it could be a role that you're like, I would definitely never be cast in. Like my dream role is Fagin. Probably not going to happen, but never know these days.
It's funny. There were so Bill Sykes, but in like a film version.
Okay.
I've heard whispers, and you're like, I do like a film version.
Andrew's just sent off his CV.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, I'm busy now.
I'll be really second. So I think that would be really fun.
Yeah. A question on that: would you sing the Bill Sykes? Because I don't think that song's his own song. What's his song? Bill Sykes' song.
Yeah, that's cut from the film.
It's cut from the film, and I don't think it's a great song. Would you want to sing that song? Because he doesn't have a song in the film.
No, yeah, I'd want to sing a song.
But do you think if they made a new film, they'd be like, "We'll put that song in"?
Maybe.
They might write a new song so that it could be an Oscar contender. You got to have an original song if you get the Oscar.
Is that true?
It is a thing. You do kind of add in a song. So that you can at least get the nod, because there were very few kind of original songs.
Okay, so Bill Sykes in the film.
So but I think it's interesting. I think there's something about. I think I come across as quite affable. So sometimes I go into an audition room and people go, "Oh, it's just
so nice."
And actually, there's that. And also, if I was so frustrated when they did Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 5 years too early. I thought because both Gaston and the Beast, I think, are really
great parts.
Interesting, problematic men. That kind of like, I think, that's it. On a stage version, I think there would be like a real interesting kind of, it depends on how camp you want to go with it, but I think actually you could play it quite straight and it could be quite a, oh wow, both of these men have kind of, slight issues about, women and their perceptions about what
have a slight kidnapping problem.
What I'm entitled
Nothing
to,
too much.
You know, and I think there would be a way to kind of show that in kind of interesting relief and show their kind of flaws. I think.
Also, Gaston just has that best. I mean, he doesn't get to sing all the song. What's his little friend called?
Le Fou.
Thank you. The Foo song, Gaston. It's just one of the best songs ever in the world.
Fun fact, that is a showstopper warm-up. We sing that song and improvise rhymes to it as one of our little getting ready for a show things.
Let's do an example.
Okay.
No one eats like Gaston.
No one bleats like Gaston.
No one takes off his sock from his feet like Gaston.
Like that. Genius. Olivier Award winning.
Hey.
How do they do it?
Come see the show, guys.
Tickets still available. Alex, can that question be applied to a percussionist? Like, what is your dream percussion role?
So there are
Apart from Showstopper.
Apart from Showstopper, a dream gig already. But
I wish you could have seen her face while she said that.
Yeah, and her crossed fingers.
no, there are definitely shows that I would love to have played Fun Home. That would have been amazing.
Yes.
It's got a really interesting percussion part. It's really unusual. It's got really unusual instrumentation
Djembe.
in it. It's got a djembe in it. Who knew? And it's got loads of tune percussion. I and all of the audiences that saw it.
Yeah. Also, the person who orchestrated it, Janine Tesori herself. I mean, a lot of people.
If anything, it was built around the djembe.
Fun Home. Oh, the djembe musical. Yeah. I've seen that.
And then you've got like Lion King is obviously like the biggest percussion show. It's got, I don't even know how many percussionists in it, but it's got an unusually large percussion section in it, so that would be super fun. Also, I love West Side Story. That's probably got the best, like the most incredible music written for percussion and tune percussion and drum kit, and they're separate, which is really nice because it's nice to separate those instruments out and sort of qualify them as being separate and being different, which is not something that you get so much anymore because of money, because of space. And so, yeah, to have like a dedicated percussionist chair is a real luxury.
I'm just going to throw this out there. The Motown, the musical.
Nice.
The drum section in that.
Yeah.
I remember just like, because that again.
Which you were also in,
Which, yes.
Obi was in Motown.
I was in Motown. Playing Smokey Robinson. But no, I remember the drum section in that just being like, and just be like, oh god, it's like it would really get me excited at the start of the show. And I think the Funk Brothers were like big Motown, like I think they've got more #1 hits than like the Beatles.
What?
Like yeah, they played on like so many like #1s and and you never really notice it until you kind of go and you hear the orchestration and you go, oh that's cool, like that bass, that drums, you kind of, and I think the orchestration for the show is kind of similarly like just awesome. So I think it would be
be up there, top hitter.
Top.
That's a little percussionist joke there.
Did you see Fun Home?
I did not.
That would be hard for you, I suppose, because you're in a show.
Yeah. Which is it's the antisocial hours. To all my friends out there, I'm sorry that I don't see you unless you're in theatre, in which case,
I don't see you because I'm working.
Because we're both working. I haven't seen you in a show.
It's such a powerful musical.
We should mention probably, if anyone listening, if you don't know the musical, it's by Janine Tesori. It's based on the graphic novel by Alison Bechdel. It's all about her, an autobiographical thing about her relationship with her father, who was gay and killed himself, and it's about her coming out as well. It's an amazing sort of family story, and it is, like, I think Janine Tesori might be my favourite musical theatre composer. Like, she's so varied, so just incredible. You can't see it; it's finished now. But, you should feel sad about that and get the cast album.
But it was listening to because the album. I remember when we were in New York, I listened to the album, and then because the tickets for theatre in New York are so crazy expensive. I mean, we complain about it here, but in Broadway, it's like. But you can see where the money goes in Broadway, 100%. I was like, wow. But yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go see it. I'm so glad that we went to see it because it just seeing it really brought the album to life, which of course sounds like a ridiculous thing to say. That should be normal logic, but it's so easy to listen to an album and go, oh, that was a really great album. I can totally imagine that. And then to see what humans managed to do together to bring that story even more to life than just the music.
It's incredible. We went out for dinner afterwards after seeing it all together, and we literally didn't we couldn't talk to each other because everybody was just so moved and was like, I don't even want to discuss what you thought of it or what I thought of it. We were just sort of sitting in the emotion of what had just happened.
I think like haunted is probably a better word. Like we were all quite just, it was very, not disturbing is not the right word. It's like it's really haunting about just emotion.
I had that with Dear Evan Hansen.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. And I saw it with Ben Platt. Who
Oh, wow.
Is, I mean, he's just wunderkind. Like I think he's something offensive, like 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Is he only?
Yeah. Wow. And he was giving, and I had no idea what the show was. It's only that Alex Lacamoire, who worked on Hamilton, also worked on that. And I was like, okay, firstly, Alex, when do you stop? And secondly, I had no idea what it was. And so I just saw, and I think it's like the second song is Waving Through a Window. And it's just, like, it's an 11 o'clock number. It really is the kind of like end of the show. And he just goes straight into it and you're just like, what? I was socks like totally blown off. And I just, it was just a wonderful experience. And then kind of afterwards I was a bit like, I just need to talk to someone or hold someone's hand and like not say anything, just like, just be present in the world.
What's the duet that Lin-Manuel does with Ben Platt? It's a Hamilton song with...
Found Tonight.
That's it, yeah.
It's a Hamil drop.
That, I mean, for me, that makes me weep every time I hear that. That's so beautiful.
It was, I think the proceeds of that went to some of the Parkland shooting.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the kids who were kind of who were at that shooting and then tried to push for some gun reform at kind of Congress and Senate level, and I think Lynn, helped. Went on one of the marches or was kind of present with them and spoke to some of the kids, but it's just it was I think both of those musicals, I was just a bit like, wow. When I heard that mashup, I was a bit like, oh, this is a lot of feelings.
Yeah. I can't imagine what because I've only heard the album of Dear Evan Hansen, and it makes me weep just listening to the album, so I can't imagine what happens when you see it for reals. Yeah. It's very powerful stuff. Yeah. And a great opening number that I love. I love opening numbers. I think they're so great, and that's such a great opening number. By the end of the opening number, like, I sort of know everything that's going on, the characters. Beauty and the Beast is my favourite opening number in the whole world.
Yeah, amazing. Welcome to the World number.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You just know everything that's going on, and you're like, oh, Gaston, I sort of fancy you, and I don't know why. Everything that's wrong in my life is because of you.
And Hamilton too, like incredible opening numbers.
Yeah.
I do think Hamilton's one of those, like, after the first stanza, it's like, oh, I'm with you. Like, that's such a strong opening. Like, I'm on your side now. I can watch this.
Mamma Mia, actually, the musical, the first, when they just do the overture, the first 4 bars, it goes, it comes in so loud, you just go, oh, I'm going to have a great time. I just love it. I think that's really great when you go to theatre and you go, I'm glad I spent this money.
Have you heard Hadestown?
No.
Come to the National in December. It's going to be amazing.
It looks like it's going to be great. Can you for people who don't know it, what is Hadestown?
People like me that don't know what it is.
No, I had a friend of mine who, and I think it had a run off Broadway.
Yeah.
And cast albums, I think they're such a blessing.
Yeah.
But Hadestown is, I think it might be like a Christmas show at the National.
Yeah.
And it's just exceptional music, and they've got a basso profundo in there who, like, I remember trying to sing along and I was like, oh my gosh, he's singing so low, and I thought I could sing low. Like, oh yes, we're here in Hades. I was like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth a watch. Book your tickets when you can.
That's great. Great tip. You heard it here first. Hadestown.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We can't let you go, Obi, without doing some singing with us. No, we can't let you go ever. That's the end.
You're ours now.
This is called Purgatory Podcast.
Yeah. This is how we get new cast members. They do a podcast and then they stay forever. But what we'd love is to do a song with you. Improvised song. How do you feel about that?
I mean,
It'll be great fun.
It will be. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Okay, we're going to do a song. Is there any kind of song that you've never got to do?
I never do the kind of meet cute, like the beginning of like the couple like going who are going to be romantic. Should we do that? Like a
Yeah, like waiting for a bus.
Yeah, or a bus stop.
Bus stop.
Amazing. Bus stop. The bus stop.
Don't think this bus is ever coming.
I'm so late. I'm tired of running.
God, that guy over there. He's at the bus stop every day.
Sometimes when I'm waiting for work and I'm letting my mind wander, I'm tired of getting caught in the rain. I'd walk, but there's so much damn lightning and thunder.
Sometimes I wait for the bus and I don't know where to go. And I stand here and I look at my watch. And I wonder if I'm ever gonna get on that bus. And if the journey will ever stop.
I wish I had someone to come with me. Someone with whom I could commute.
I wish I had that guy.
I wish there was somebody who noticed me and say that, hey, you know what, I think you're really cute.
But I guess we're all on a journey. Yeah, I guess we're all on a journey. I guess we're all on a journey. All on a journey. Sometimes I imagine that I get on a motorbike and I go down the highway and the wind's in my hair and I am free.
Sometimes I wish I could just buy a convertible and speed down the highway and no one could catch me. But we are
All on a journey.
yeah, we're all on a journey. Yes, we're all on a journey.
Just you and me.
Just you and me.
Just you and me. Oh, look, it's my bus. The number 3.
Hey, wait, you dropped your...
Journey. Well, Obi's an amazing improviser.
Oh my God, he's like, when we started that, he was, right at the top of my awesome people list, but he's incredible.
Really amazing. And he's done so much different music, and like a font of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. He's my new hero.
Yes, we are now both members of the Obi fan club. And if you enjoyed the podcast, why don't you become a member of the Showstopper fan club?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not a literal fan club, but you can follow us on Twitter at the Showstoppers or Instagram, Showstopper Musical.
I feel like those are modern fan clubs.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think so. Oh, you can also, if you would like to, it would be great if you could rate this podcast, because anytime you rate it, it makes more people be able to listen to it. So it's really helpful for us.
Needless to say, when we say rate, we mean give 5 stars.
Yeah, that's right. 5 stars. Anything less, we don't get all Airbnb on you, but we need 5 stars. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars on the list.
And if there's anything you'd like to hear in the podcast, anyone you think, oh, that would make an amazing guest, let us know. Send us a message. Tell us what you think.
Yes, please. Until next time, podcasters.
That's an amazing sign-off that we have to keep from now on.